Okay, so have you ever, been totally sucked in by an ad?
Oh, tell me about it. Like, you didn't even know you needed that air fryer until you saw that ad, and then suddenly, boom, you're ordering takeout because you have to try it out, right?
Exactly. It's like they crawled inside your brain. And that's what we're diving into today. We've got a stack of those AWAI copywriting materials, the ones everyone's talking about.
Oh, yeah, those are like the holy grail for anyone who wants to write copy that converts.
Right. And, whether you're selling a product, an idea, or even just trying to write a killer email, these principles apply. And the first thing that jumped out from the AWAI stuff was this whole idea: sell the benefit, not the feature.
Oh, I love that. It seems so obvious, but they had this brilliant example. They used a pencil, a simple, everyday pencil.
Okay, a pencil. I'm intrigued. How do you sell a pencil based on benefits?
Well, think about it. It's not just about the graphite in the wood. It's about the feeling of inspiration striking. And you need to jot down your million-dollar idea before it vanishes. It's the tool that helps you achieve your dreams.
Oh, wow, I see what you mean. It's not about the thing itself, it's about the solution it offers.
Exactly. But how do you actually find those juicy benefits? AWAI has this so what technique, which is genius. You keep asking so what until you hit that emotional core.
Oh, yeah, the so what technique. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, right? But I have to admit, I found it a little tricky at first. It's not always easy to unearth those deep-seated desires.
No, it definitely takes practice. But remember that AWAI interview with copywriter Marcella? She was struggling with this bone health supplement.
Okay, how do you make vitamins sound exciting? That's tough.
Tell me about it. But then she stumbled on this concept of a dowager's hump. You know, that curvature in the upper back. It can be from severe bone loss.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's scary. And instantly relatable.
Right. Suddenly, it wasn't about calcium percentages, but about staying active with your grandkids, maintaining your independence as you age.
Powerful. They tapped into a real fear. Which leads us to another big thing a WAI talks about: speaking directly to you, the reader. But how do you do that without sounding cheesy?
Yeah, the myth of you, they call it. It's not about being generic, it's about intimacy. Like, imagine you're whispering a secret to them based on genuinely knowing their desires.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like you're not talking at them, you're talking with them.
Exactly. And that's where the AWAI emphasis on really understanding your audience comes in. They have a
Mhm.
whole section on creating a customer avatar, which is super helpful.
Right, that fictional representation of your ideal customer, like you're writing a story about them. I loved that exercise. Did you find it helpful?
Incredibly helpful because the more you understand your audience, the easier it is to tailor your message to their specific needs and desires.
And the AWAI materials are packed with examples of companies who are doing this really well. Like, I was struck by the copy from Mindful Magazine.
Oh, yeah, what about it?
Well, on the surface, they're promising a more satisfying life, which, let's be honest, who doesn't want that? But the way they write, it's like they're speaking directly to your struggles, your journey.
It makes it personal, like
Yeah.
they get you,
Exactly. It's not just about generic platitudes, it's about making a real connection with the reader.
which ultimately makes them more likely to trust you and ultimately buy from you. That's the power of good copywriting.
Okay, I'm taking notes. So we've got our juicy benefits, our you focus, but can't we just cram in every persuasive trick? Apparently not, right? Enter the golden thread.
Love this one. It's about resisting the urge to shout everything and instead think of it like this. If your copy has a heartbeat, the golden thread is the pulse. That one emotion, that core desire you keep bringing the reader back to.
Okay, that makes it way more concrete. So it's about finding that one powerful idea and weaving it throughout. Give us an example.
Remember that AWAI ad targeting wannabe writers? They hammer home this idea of becoming a successful spare time writer. Not quitting your day job, but writing from a beach someday.
Oh, right. It's genius because they weave that spare time idea into everything. Suddenly, it's achievable, not just a pipe dream.
Exactly. Every testimonial, every benefit ties back to that. That's your golden thread. In action, it makes the message memorable because it speaks to a very specific desire.
So instead of overwhelming the reader, you're guiding them down a very deliberate path.
Exactly. Now, how do we get them on that path in the first place? That's where headlines and leads come in.
Ooh, yes. It's like that movie trailer that gives you just enough to make you need to see the whole film. How do we create that kind of intrigue in writing?
Remember Andrew Davis and that curiosity gap he talks about. You tease information strategically, leaving them wanting more.
Like, you'll never believe what happened next, but
Mhm.
for, say, selling a website redesign.
Exactly.
Huh.
And those AWAI headline formulas, pure gold, the 4 U's really stuck with me. Unique, useful, urgent, and ultra-specific. It's like a cheat code for grabbing attention.
Okay, break that down for us. What makes a headline ultra-specific? Give us an example.
Imagine you see this headline. Local dog owners discover this one weird trick to stop excessive barking. It's specific, it promises a solution to a real problem, and it makes you curious to know the weird trick.
Okay, that's way better than stop your dog from barking, I'm
Uh-huh.
invested. What about the opening paragraph, the lead?
Think of it as the bridge between that killer headline and the juicy benefits. It's like a sneak peek, offering a glimpse of what awaits if they keep reading.
Any favorite examples from the AWA materials?
Yeah.
That they had some good ones?
Oh, tons. But this one stuck with me. The end of America. Talk about dramatic, right?
Whoa, that's intense. Definitely makes you want to know more.
Right. It's bold, a little scary,
Yeah.
and it immediately makes you wonder, wait, what ended? How does this affect Mimi?
It's tapping into that primal fear and anxiety we talked about earlier. Smart.
Exactly. And the lead would then connect this end to something relevant to the reader, offering a solution or a path to avoid it. It's all about that irresistible pull to keep reading.
Man, my head is spinning. Benefits, golden threads, headlines that could stop a speeding train.
Mhm.
There's so much good stuff in these AWAI materials.
Right. It's a lot to take in, but they really emphasize that this is a skill you build over time.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's a journey.
That's reassuring because I'm already thinking about pitching myself as a copywriter, and I'm like, what if I freeze up?
Oh, I've been there. But one thing that helped me reframe it, the AWAI folks kept saying, be a curious investigator, not a know-it-all. It's less about being perfect on day one, more about understanding your client and their audience.
So, like, asking the right questions is as important as writing the perfect sentence.
100%. The more you understand their needs, their desires, those persuasive words, they'll flow way more naturally.
That actually takes a ton of pressure off. It's more about being a good communicator, which honestly makes me think about that golden thread thing again. Cool concept, but how do you actually find it? It feels kind of mystical.
I totally get that. It's
Yeah.
easy to get lost in the metaphor. But think of it this way. Before you even start writing, ask yourself, what's the one feeling, the
Fair.
dominant emotion I want the reader to feel? Not just any emotion, but the one that'll really make them take action.
Okay, so it's about identifying that core feeling and making it the heartbeat of your copy.
You got it. And sometimes that golden thread reveals itself as you're doing your research. You're uncovering their fears, their desires, and then boom, there it is.
Okay, so it's not always about coming up with some brilliant original emotion, more like tapping into what's already there.
Exactly. It's about understanding what truly motivates your audience. Are they driven by fear, by ambition, the desire to belong? Once you know that, you can weave it into every single element of your copy, from your headline.
To the call to action. Speaking of, the AWAI breakdown of headlines and leads,
Mhm.
those felt high stakes.
For sure. They're your first impression. Your one shot to make someone stop scrolling and actually pay attention.
Right, like that end of America example. Talk about attention grabbing.
Exactly. But it's not always about being shocking or dramatic. Sometimes the most effective headlines are surprisingly simple, but they always offer something irresistible.
So how do we make sure our headlines are hitting all the right notes? The AWAI material mentions some specific formulas, right?
Yeah, they have tons, but one that really stuck with me is the 4 U's formula. Unique, useful, urgent, and ultra-specific.
Okay, break that down. Unique, useful, I get it, but what makes a headline ultra-specific? Give me an example.
Let's say you're writing for a gardening company. A generic headline might be, grow the most beautiful flowers this spring. Super vague, right?
Yeah.
But an ultra-specific headline, this one weird trick will make your roses bloom twice as big this year.
Okay, I need to know the trick. I'm invested.
Exactly. It's specific to roses, it promises a tangible result,
Right.
and it's got that intrigue, weird trick. That's the power of being ultra-specific.
So much better than grow some flowers.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've hooked them with the headline. How do we keep them reading with that opening paragraph, the lead?
Think of the lead as the bridge between that killer headline and all those juicy benefits you've got waiting for them. It's a sneak peek, a little taste of what they'll get if they keep reading.
Okay, I love that. So it needs to be engaging. What else?
Emotionally resonant. Don't be afraid to tap into those emotions early on. Remember, connect it back to that golden thread.
Make them feel something, right?
Got it. You
Okay.
got it. And, the AWAI materials really hit home this idea that copywriting, it's a skill anyone can learn it. It's not some like magical talent.
Yeah. That is so reassuring to hear because sometimes I look at those amazing ads and I'm like, I could never do that. But it's about practice, right?
Absolutely. The more you write, the better you'll become. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
So true. Mistakes are just lessons in disguise. Okay, so we've talked about headlines, leads, that golden thread, and how anyone can learn this stuff, which is awesome. But what about actually finding work?
Great question. AWAI had some really solid advice on that. They talked about building a portfolio even if you don't have big name clients yet. Offer to write for friends, family, local businesses, even if it's for free or a discounted rate, just to get your feet wet.
So it's about getting your reps in, building that experience, which makes total sense. What
Yeah.
else?
Networking. This field is all about connections. Attend industry events, join online communities, reach out to people you admire. You never know where those connections might lead.
So true. Okay, as we wrap up this epic deep dive into the world of copywriting, any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are now, like, itching to write something amazing?
Remember that feeling you had when you first wanted to write compellingly, before you got bogged down in the how-tos? Tap back into that excitement, that joy of playing with words. It's contagious.
It really is. It's not just about selling, it's about connecting.
Absolutely. And remember, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. Stay curious. The marketing world is always changing, so enjoy the journey.
Love it. For all you word nerds out there, keep those keyboards clicking, and we'll see you in our next deep dive.